So, explaining why it's important not to have, like in preparation for a soulmate, and then also once you find your potential significant other where you feel like you want to spend the rest of your life with them, this is when you apply these. One, when you're ready to find true love, so the soulmate, the one, whatever you want to call it, the perfect match, anyways, you get the idea. So what works here is, so you're abstaining from actual orgasm, and that act expels a lot of energy out of you, especially the male. I can only speak for males. So what ends up happening is when you don't have an orgasm, you basically are building up that very powerful energy and then using alchemy to convert it to higher energy. So a state of lower but powerful vibration to a state of higher and more excited vibration. So this is where you really shine. You take it, you've done everything you can physically, mentally, spiritually, and even soul. You touch upon the soul. I didn't realize this when I was first doing it. But yeah, it's important. Because I didn't, at the time I wasn't thinking about soul. So, but that makes sense. It's a soulmate. How are you going to find your soulmate without developing your soul? So, anyway, it's also obvious now looking back. So the point is, you want to not release this energy, and it becomes really powerful. It helps you, become a greater force of nature, and even your magnetic attraction is a greater pull. So that's a feature I've found and unlocked. And so once you know it's the person, you're thinking, I want to possibly spend the rest of my life with this person. I mean, you don't usually say possibly, but you usually say I want to spend the rest of my life with them, because that's exactly how you feel. And then, so now this energy that you experience building up within yourself, now what's happening is you are now experiencing that energy built up with the significant other. So, the desire for intercourse will be there, and it'll be powerful. You could just think, whatever, but that's not what you should do. If you're talking about a relationship that you want to spend the rest of your life, 3 months is not that big of a time. And what it does is, so in the beginning of a relationship, your communication lines are exponentially open. In other words, I could share something with them and they could share something with me, and it could be the most horrible thing I may have done my whole life. And they are more apt to accept, that you're human, and that also works for you. So it's not something used to manipulate people. No, I never suggest that. What I do suggest is working with the natural energy that exists that's good in nature. I mean, that's the best outcome. Trust me. It's like, you're not going to poop in your own backyard. You shouldn't. That's really stupid. So you want to create, instead, the greatest, experience for yourself while in this form, which happens to be love. And if you find true love, oh boy, you're lucky. It becomes next level magical. And I made another video explaining, how we all have our own frequency and how to essentially work with that knowledge in order to pair up and essentially you're able to access a higher frequency using the right other person's frequency. It's a match. It's a signature match. And they take you higher than you can go on your own. It's just physiological. It's just a fact. So while you can take yourself to bliss and I've done that, you go into a greater state of bliss because it's more than just you, and that's what really excites the mind, the spirit. That's what basically has your soul involved too. It's like a very deep and body connection. So after 3 months of not doing anything, you exponentially are keeping the communication lines open. And the reason why I say that is because, at least in my experience, and I think it might be so for guys, it's just that I reflect on things more. And essentially, when you commit the act of sex instead of making love, what you're telling the universe is, I know enough of this person, and then that communication exponential openness shuts. You now don't have access to that. You're telling the universe, I know this person well enough, that's enough. And so that's something that just happens. No matter how great you are, you can't overcome these natural forces. And that's what's the beauty of what I'm sharing is, first you put yourself in a state, a true state of greatness for yourself. You're dealing with your genetics, your mind, your spirit, and your soul. If you've never found it, then now is the time. I have another video up on how to purify the spirit to access soul. Because I know some people either have never felt it or have felt it and then lost it and just don't foster. You have to foster it. It's like exercise. It's like, if you don't do exercise, your body gets weaker, you're not as strong, you're not as dexterous, limber, etc., etc. Only it applies to the soul. It's like either it's there because you fostered it, or you don't even register it. It's like, a kid who's never run will never know what a runner's high is unless he actually experiences it. It's the same thing. If you've never worked on your soul, and everyone has one, believe it or not, and the beauty is that no matter what you've done, I don't care if you're the worst person on this planet, you can purify your soul again. The door is always open for you to work on yourself in that way. So anyways, that's why I suggest 3 months abstaining before you meet the other person, and 3 months abstaining from intercourse itself once you meet them, and hopefully you'll have a union that's making love instead of just sex, which can be great on its own, could be amazing, mind-blowing, feel universal, but it's nothing. It's such a smidgen compared to making love. The divine feeling is of something like that is something you just don't want to miss that before you pass on to another form. Okay, thank you for listening. If you like, please click the like button, subscribe, and most importantly, it's important you share on different social media platforms. I appreciate you. I love you. Take care. Bye-bye.